Scientists, and happy Thursday. Today is June 4th and you are on step 1, which is watching this video. I'm going to go over our work from Tuesday, and I'm also going to explain today's assignment, which is going to be one of our final science assignments, because this is what next week is going to look like. So tomorrow, Friday, is the last day that you're going to have to hand in any late, any missing work. If you need help with any of that, please let me know. Monday and Tuesday, we're going to be having virtual field trips with your A block teacher, your A block class. If you are in my home room but go to Mrs. King for A block, I think you're also going to be with me. Wednesday, we're going to have a virtual field trip share out, Google Meet kind of a thing. And then Thursday, we're going to have some live goodbyes. So that means that I'm going to post on Google Meets, all your classes will post. And just like you go through your schedule for the day, A block, B block, C, and so on, you can just click in and we can say goodbye to each other for the rest of the year. On Friday at 10 a.m., there's going to be an end of year assembly live streaming. Make sure to check that out. We put in some really fun videos from the year. And then at 1 p.m., there's going to be a reverse parade at EMS. So that means that your teachers will be at Ellington Middle School. We will all be distanced. And you can drive by with your family and we can say goodbye to each other for the last day of school. I cannot believe what a crazy year we've had, but I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else. I'm so proud of you all. And just think, when you are, later in life, you're going to have a great story to tell people because you survived distance learning in 8th grade. And that's pretty spectacular. I just want to say thank you for your patience. Thank you for your kindness throughout this whole thing. I miss you all so, so much. I was actually talking to your teachers today, and we were trying to put together something special for the last day of school, that virtual assembly. So make sure to check that out because we missed you a lot. But moving on to some science, these are some great ideas from Tuesday on embryology. So someone noticed that what I noticed is that it's similar with all of them. Is the first 2 steps, they all look the same and have similar features, especially the second step because they were all like in a web. In stage 3, they all have a spine-like thing lining their backs and their heads look the same. If embryos are similar, then it might provide a connection between 2 organisms. Think about it. An embryo is at the very beginning of the process of growth from a single cell to an organism. If embryos are similar, then that must mean our growth process with that animal is not much different. I think insect embryos would look different, like ants, who are so, so small and don't need to grow as big. When they did some research, they actually saw images that look similar to the embryos, but there were images where the embryo looks like a caterpillar more than an embryo that we studied today. So there's some organisms that have embryos that look like the ones we looked at yesterday, but there's also some organisms that don't. So that might help us show some connections with common ancestry. So I hope that you found that cool. I was not good at the guess the embryo game at all. I could not guess the embryo. The only one I got right was the turtle, and I don't know why, but I got the turtle right, and I was proud of myself for that. So it was just really interesting to look at, in that embryological stage, a turtle, a human, like all these things can look really, really similar and then eventually turn into these completely different organisms. But it also makes me think that we have a lot in common with organisms that you would think, okay, how am I like a turtle? How is Miss Schilling like a turtle? Well, Miss Schilling has 2 eyeballs. A turtle has 2 eyeballs. Miss Schilling has a nose. Turtle has a little nose. Miss Schilling has bones in her hand. I think a turtle has the similar bones. But you get it? We always see those differences between us. We have so much in common with those things around us. We just really have to think about it. It's so much easier to see our differences than our similarities. So our big question again is, how do scientists figure out if organisms are related, and what do scientists look for as evidence of common ancestry? So just a reminder of our definition of evolution. It's a change in the characteristics of a species over several generations and relies on natural selection. So it's just saying, just like we saw in the whale and the horse and the, what else, Tiktaalik. What else did we look at? We looked at a whole bunch of different things. But that progression, those changes over time, a change in the characteristics of a species over many generations, whether it gets bigger or smaller or loses a leg bone or gains a leg bone, that process is called evolution, and it relies on that idea from our last unit, natural selection, survival of the fittest. So for whatever reason, it was probably more beneficial to live in the water than it was in the land. So that whale eventually through many generations. The organisms that were transitioning to the water survived, the ones that didn't died, and then that led to these changes over time, just like we saw in the peppered moths, just like we saw in our foxes. A lot of organisms you'll see, the ones that are better at surviving will live, the ones that aren't will die, and then slowly that species can change over time to look a certain way to fit in their environment. So now what we're going to do is we looked at fossils, we looked at homologous structures, we looked at vestigial structures, we looked at embryology. We looked at all these pieces of evidence for common ancestry. What we're going to do today is we're going to bring it all together and kind of wrap it up into a CER, claim, evidence, reasoning. So the first thing we're going to look at is how do fossils provide evidence of common ancestry? So I'm actually going to provide you with claim, like multiple choice, evidence, multiple choice, and then you're going to think about the reasoning with the big question of how do fossils provide evidence of common ancestry. Then we're going to do the same thing for homologous structures. How do homologous structures provide evidence of common ancestry with a CER? Then how do embryos, embryological development, provide evidence of common ancestry with a CER? And then last but not least, what questions do we still have about what scientists look for as evidence of common ancestry? And then you're going to be done with science for today. So this is, I don't know if this is showing. I don't know why this keeps happening. It's only recording my slideshow. But anyway, you have a Google form to do today. Just like this, it starts off with how are fossils evidence of common ancestry, how are homologous structures evidence of common ancestry, and how is embryology evidence of common ancestry. It's multiple choice, and I put this on the Google form. There are multiple right answers. You're just going to go with the best one, but there are multiple right answers. If you have any questions about that, let me know. But don't freak out, because there are, I think for every question, there's at least 2 or 3 that you could choose and you would be correct. So don't stress too much about that. Just go with the best answer. Once you're done with that, I'd love to hear any questions you have left over. For E-level, you can research a question that you're interested in that we haven't gotten to. And then you're going to be done with science for today. Tomorrow, we are going to fill out a bit of a reflection on Friday. It's going to be the last day to submit any late or missing work. And then next week, we've got those fun virtual field trips. We've got a reverse parade. We've got an assembly and all that stuff. I know I've been saying this in my videos for the past couple days, but I really just want to stress the fact that I know there's so much craziness happening in the world. You might have a lot going on in your lives related to your family. There's things going on in the world related to COVID, and then there's other things going on in the world right now. A lot of that is hard to process. A lot of that is hard to understand, and I just want to let you know I'm here to talk if you want to. I know through the news, if you're watching the news, social media, conversations that you might be overhearing with your friends or with your family, it can be scary. It can be overwhelming. It can be confusing. You could have all the right intentions and say something that comes across the wrong way. It's a hard time. It's a hard conversation. But my job as your teacher is to be there for you and support you and educate you and help you understand what's going on in the world and process that. You might have things going on with your family or your friends that you just want to talk. And I just want to tell you that even though this is remote learning, I am always, always here for you. So all you have to do is shoot me an email. We can schedule a time to chat. You can do a Google chat with me or Google Meet, but if you ever need anything, I just want to let you know that you have someone here for you to listen, to talk to, whatever you need. So just let me know, because I know there's a lot going on. It's hard to process, but I'm always, always here for you. So again, once you're done with all of this, you're done with science for today. And I'm very excited for the rest of the week or next week, because we've got some fun things planned. Hopefully you can join us for our reverse parade. It could be fun. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow. Bye.